Hey homesteaders, gardeners, and cooks. My name is Jennifer. Welcome to Miles Away Farm, or welcome back. Just a quick little video here to show you how we're putting my 7-tier Greenstalk to bed for the winter. I've had this probably for 3 years now, 2 to 3 years. And there are 6 pockets on each one of these tiers, and there's 7 tiers, so a total of 42 potential plants in here. I currently have this planted with strawberries, and of course strawberries are perennial, and so theoretically they should overwinter. But what people don't often think about with things in pots is where the cold is coming from in the wintertime is not from the ground, it's from the air. The ground is actually a giant insulator, which is why you can build a root cellar and it'll stay above freezing if you go down deep enough, even when it's very, very cold outside. And so what we're trying to do here is take this apart and put the pots in contact with the ground so that the ground is going to create a little bit of an insulator. And so when our air gets super cold, we're in zone 7A. We don't tend to get super cold here, maybe down to 0, usually very briefly, normally between 10 and 20. But when we do get that very cold weather, especially because it's just a pot, there's not a lot of mass there to create insulation, it can very easily freeze the roots of the plant. And so what I'm trying to do here is put them close together so that they basically have some mass in terms of all being in a big chunk, and then putting them in touch with the ground so that that ground is going to provide a little bit of an insulating quality. And then we're going to put a tarp over the top of these, which is going to protect it, and hopefully we'll get some snow, and the snow will also act as an insulator. And this is what I did last year with my Greenstalks, and they came through the winter with no problems at all. These pockets were a little bit dry because I hadn't been actively watering them for some time. And I had a couple of holes where plants had died, and so I did have a couple of strawberries waiting in the wings in separate pots that I had rooted, and so those got transplanted in. And I'm just watering to make sure the soil is moist going into the winter. The one on the very top didn't need much because it was actually getting rained on, but the other ones weren't. And these will retain that moisture through the winter without additional watering because the plants are basically dormant and the temperatures are low. And then this is just a new tarp from Home Depot. We're just keeping the worst of it off. This isn't going to keep things above freezing, but it's going to give it just a little boost in temperature because it's going to capture some of that heat from the ground as it radiates up to give it a little bit more warmth than what it would have if it didn't have that tarp on there. We're hoping for 4 or 5 degrees if we're lucky. And then our winds tend to come from the south, which would be to the left in this video. And so we're going to make sure that we stake this down all the way around so that when we get winds, we are not going to have that tarp just blow off in the wind. I'm just using planters that I had plants in the garden this summer. And we're going to hold that down all the way around. And of course, my husband doesn't think like I do. We make jokes about this. We've been married for 26 years. And so I had to go get a different planter to put on the south side because I didn't feel like that one small cinder block was going to be enough. And so I second guessed what he did and rearranged things because that's what we do. That's what marriage is, compromise and redoing stuff. But I put this on the south side and then the other one on the north side. And that's all I needed to do. And so this is tucked in for the winter and it should come through with flying colors. And in the spring, I'll show you how we're going to rehab these and hopefully get a lovely harvest of strawberries next year. Should be enough. Thanks for watching, Tribe. If you like this kind of content, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, leave me a comment, and share. I have new content coming out every week.